जी।
हाँ। एक
हाँ बोले क्या?
एक सेकंड, मेरा ये आउट हो Golden Charcha, EIRC initiative. Golden Charcha and Enriching webinar series by EIRC 5 on every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Week में 3 बार ये होता है. Today is the 59th session of Golden Charcha. Today's speaker is Ayush Saraf. His topic is legal issue in e-way bill and compliance. Today's special address given by Manish Barelia ji. I request to Manish Barelia ji to give a special address for today's session.
थैंक यू चिंपू जी। Respected office bearers of EIRC of ICAI, dear Ayush ji and my fellow professional colleagues, good evening to all. It gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this enriching Golden Charcha webinar series, which has always been a platform for meaningful and practical learning. Today's topic, legal issues in e-way bill compliance, is extremely relevant as it directly impacts our day-to-day GST practice and litigation preparedness. I am confident that CA Dr. Ayush Saraf will throw light on the critical legal nuances, recent judicial developments, and practical challenges faced by businesses. On behalf of EIRC, I warmly welcome our learned speaker and all participants, and I wish everyone a highly insightful and value-adding session. Thank you and have a wonderful learning experience. Chimpu ji.
Thank you, Manish Barelia ji. Wonderful addressing. And today's speaker is Dr. Ayush Saraf ji. And topic is legal issue in e-way bill, in which can every vehicle be detained, what to do when vehicle is detained, what if e-way bill is not generated, case laws and judicial proceeding on e-way bill by Ayush Saraf ji. Ayush Saraf ji is a chartered accountant and holding a PhD degree doctorate. He has been awarded doctorate degree by Guwahati University and has submitted his thesis on the impact of implementation of Ind AS in financial statement of selected Nifty 50 companies. He has also qualified company secretary course from the Institute of Company Secretary of India and has obtained degree of law from JB Law College. He has also qualified certificate course of concurrent audit of bank conducted by ICAI. Dr. Saraf specialized in GST matters and is a known face in GST litigation across the country. He has co-authored of a book, Practical Guide to GST Compliance, published by Taxman Corporation, of which already 2 editions have been released. He has also co-authored a book, Comprehensive Commentary on the Law and Practice of Goods and Service Tax, with Dr. Ashok Saraf as a co-author. Dr. Saraf occupied the prestigious post of Chairman of Guwahati branch of the Institute of Chartered Account of India for the year 2023-24. He also served as a member of the GST Grievance Redressal Committee for the North East region formed by a GST Council for 2 consecutive terms. He is also a guest faculty with National Academy of Custom, Indirect Tax and Narcotic of the Central Board of Indirect Tax and Custom, where training to GST officer is provided. He is a regular guest faculty and conducted seminars and workshops for Taxman Corporation of GST matters. He is also employed as a faculty with Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI for providing training to various stakeholders. He has provided training to chartered accountant in various certificate courses on GST organized by ICAI as a faculty. He is a speaker on GST matters on various teams from all over the country. He also contributes articles on various issues related to GST law in various famous forums. Dr. Saraf has been guest faculty in Department of Commerce, Guwahati University, deliberating on taxation and financial management. He has been associated as a guest faculty in MBA Department of Guwahati Commerce College in Strategic Cost and Management Accounting. Dr. Saraf, prominent face in local news channels, deliberating over various financial issues. So, welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Saraf, for deliberating his speech on the litigation of e-way bill. Requesting Sarvajji to take over the session.
Thank you so much, Agarwal ji and Manish ji, for this special address and for the introduction. At the very outset, I would like to thank the managing committee of EIRC for giving me this opportunity to address this session. As regards the topic is e-way bill, that is legal issues in e-way bill compliances. And let me tell you, every day at least there is one query relating to detentions, whether the detention is legal, whether we have to pay penalty before release, whether this is correct, whether that is correct, whether this was a very small error, whether detention can be done, whether on legal issues detention can be done. So there are many issues which are hounding the taxpayers, and I must say that there are some departmental excesses also in this issue, wherein goods are being detained unnecessarily. However, at a later stage, when appeals are happening, they are being getting a fair verdict, but still there is a harassment to the taxpayers. So in this session, we will try to touch up on legal issues only. We will be discussing various case laws and various scenarios in this e-way bill compliances. If you have any queries, please ask then and there so that we can clear it. You can write your query in the chat box so that we will be trying to answer it. So I'll be sharing the PPT. Just a second. Okay, I think it's visible now. Yes.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so the power to inspect goods. See, we all, when we talk about detention of goods, we talk about Rule 138. But Rule 138 is a rule. It gives how to inspect goods. But the power to detain a vehicle or to inspect a vehicle which is moving goods is contained in Section 68. This section gives the proper officer the power to detain goods. Okay, next. I'll not go much into these things because we shall be discussing more on case laws. Section 129. Section 129 contains the penal consequences of detention. What shall be the penal consequences when goods are detained? So normally when we talk about detention, we talk about section 129 and the rule, but no one talks about section 68. So we need to understand that the power to detain is given by 68 and 129 contains only the penal consequences. It does not gives the power to inspect goods. Okay. Penal consequences are basically, I'll just discuss in brief with you. See, as regards penal consequences, if the goods are detained on transit and the officer charges basically deems any non-compliance of that transit goods, then he can charge 200% of the tax payable as penalty. If the owner of the goods comes forward, that means suppose Mr. A is the owner of the goods and Mr. B is the transporter. If on detention, Mr. A says that yes, these goods belong to me and I am ready to bear the consequences, you issue the show cause notice on me. On that, in that case, the penalty shall be 200% of the tax payable. However, if the owner does not come forward, suppose the transporter says, I don't know who has given these goods. Some middleman gave me these things, and now I don't know the owner. So in that case, the penalty will be 50% of the value of goods. So it's huge in that case. So these are the penal consequences basically. I will not discuss much. So these are the forms. Immediately when the vehicle is detained, MOV 01 is issued, wherein the statement of the driver is taken. Then MOV 02, order for physical verification. MOV 3 is for extension of time. MOV 4 is physical verification report, which the proper officer has to submit. Then MOV 5 is the release order. And MOV 6 is the detention order. So interestingly, MOV 5 is release, and after release comes detention. How come? Why the flow is in a way that the release comes before and the order for detention comes later? Any answers? You may write in the chat box. Any wild guesses? Okay, I'll tell you. See, law always considers the taxpayer to be genuine. Law always considers that the taxpayer is not evading taxes. So, this release of goods is an intent of the government that yes, even there will be an inspection, then also the goods will be released. So that's why the flow is like this. The release of goods is first, MOV 05. And after that, detention order is there. That is MOV 06. After detention order, MOV 07 is issued. MOV 07 is nothing but show cause notice. And MOV 07 shall be accompanied with DRC 01 mandatorily. Okay. MOV 09 is order for demand. That is, it is the final order after issuance of show cause notice, and it has to also be accompanied with DRC 07. MOV 08 is bond for release of goods. So this is the flow of the various forms in case of detention of goods. I'll not go much into theory part. Okay. I'll just show you about, we'll just move forward with a small understanding of how the e-way bill is made and the e-way bill form. See, there can be two types of e-way bills. One is inward e-way bill, one is outward e-way bill. Inward e-way bill is when for our purchases we prepare a e-way bill. And outward is when we are selling the goods and we are required to generate e-way bill. So the first category we are discussing is inward e-way bill. So in the e-way bill, you will be selecting this inward column, supply type inward. Then there will be some other sub columns, that is supply. First one is supply, that is normal purchase sale transaction. Import means when we are importing goods from abroad, then we can select this option and we can bring the goods from the port to the godown. SKD, CKD lots. SKD, CKD means semi knockdown, completely knockdown condition or in lots. There are some machineries which are very voluminous and they cannot be carried when they are assembled. So in those cases, they have to be deassembled and then transported. So SKD, CKD option has to be selected in those cases, because otherwise the officer will say, see, you have in your e-way bill mentioned about the machinery, but where is the machinery? They're only parts. So when we select SKD, CKD, this point gets covered and there is no scope for litigation. Job work returns. Suppose we sent some goods for job work. Now when we are bringing it back, then job work returns will work. Sales return, we sold goods. Now we have to bring the goods back because the goods have been returned back. Exhibition fares, that is, we took goods for exhibition to some other place and now we are taking it back to our godown. For own use and others. Others are some other category of transactions which we shall be discussing at a later stage. Then document type, tax invoice or any other. Then document date, document number means invoice number, transaction type. You have to punch the GST and a name, address, everything. Bill to, ship to. Item details have to be mentioned and tax details have to be mentioned. Transportation details and part B, vehicle number. These things are there. So next, in the opposite, there is outward supply. Outward supply EV bill. Okay, similarly, there also subtypes are there. Supply, that means normal supply. In case of export, we need to send goods to the port. So export can be selected. For job work, suppose we are sending goods for job work, then we have to select this option SKD, CKD. Recipient not known. There may be cases where the recipient is not known and you have to move the goods. For own use, exhibition fairs, line sales. What are line sales? Suppose a person is carrying bakery items in his vehicle and that exceeds 50,000 rupees, and he will distribute those bakery items means to the customer directly at their homes. So that is line sale, and for that e-way bill has to be generated, and there is others option. So similarly here also tax invoice, document number, document date, these details are to be mentioned. Yes. Okay. So now we shall be discussing directly on the Mundraji said maybe for the taxpayer areas your contention was correct. Okay. See, initially when the law was new, there were many detentions because of minor errors. Very small errors, there were some detentions. So concerns were being raised and the ministry thought it fit to issue a circular in this regard. So accordingly, a circular was issued which contained list of certain errors which will be treated as minor error during this detention proceedings. So we'll be discussing those. First is if there is a spelling mistake in the name of the consigner, but if the GSTN is correct, suppose the name is wrongly written, but if I have mentioned the GSTN there and it is correct, so then that error does not remain because the GSTN contains the correct name. So this will be treated as a minor error. When there is an error in PIN code, but the address of the consigner and consignee is correct. If the address written is correct, but the PIN code is wrong, then also it is a minor error. However, there is a condition that change in PIN code should not change the validity of the e-way bill. Because if the difference between two PIN codes is such that it increases the distance to more than 200 kilometer, because e-way bill calculates distance, means the validity of e-way bill is 200 kilometer for 1 day. So if the distance between two PIN codes is such that it increases the validity of the e-way bill, then it will not be a minor error, because that may basically reflect an intent to evade. Error in the address of the consignee to the extent that locality and other details are correct. Okay. Error in one or two digits of the document number mentioned in the e-way bill. But so if there is, suppose invoice number is 5125, but it is wrongly written as 5100. So there is a error in two digits of the document number. So in this case, it will be a minor error. But if it is more than two digits, it will not be a minor error. If there is a mistake in HSN code, but the first two digits of the HSN are correct and the rate of tax is also correct, then also it is a minor error. Error in one or two digits or characters of the vehicle number. If one or two digits or characters are wrong, then also it is a minor error. In all these cases, I repeat, only in all these 6 cases, these will be treated as minor errors, and the penalty will be 600 500 CGST and 500 SGST. Okay. If there are any queries relating to this circular, you may please ask. So this is the gist of the circular. Okay. Now let us take some case laws, some case studies rather. So there is a truck which is carrying cement from Assam to Kolkata, bearing the required documents with e-way bill duly generated. The vehicle is stopped for checking by mobile squad of department. Now, while generating e-way bill, some mistakes have been committed as follows. Name of the recipient is wrong. So what will we do? If the name of the recipient is wrong, but if the GST number is correct, then it will be a minor error. However, if the GST number is also wrong, then it will not be a minor error. Invoice number wrongly written. If up to 2 digits, then it is okay. If more than that, it is not okay. Quantity wrongly given. There is no point regarding quantity in the circular. So if there is any mistake in the quantity, it will not be considered as a minor error and it may be liable for penalty. Value wrongly given in e-way bill but correct in invoice. This is also not covered by the circular. Again, value given wrongly in invoice but is correct in e-way bill. This can never be correct. This can never be a minor error because your base document is itself wrong. So these were some situations. Now let us come to case study 2. Truck is carrying from Assam to Kolkata, cement from Assam to Kolkata, bearing the required documents and e-way bill generated. E-way bill generated on 1st of April 2023 and the same is valid till 4th of April 2023. On 3rd April 2023, the vehicle stops due to some minor accident midway and needs to be repaired. Okay, the vehicle stops somewhere because the vehicle is needs repairing and the driver did not inform the owner about this thing. Okay, so see, e-way bill has a rule that if the e-way bill is expiring on 4th April at 12 midnight, it can be extended within 8 hours. That is on 5th uh, up to 8 a.m. 8 hours from 12 midnight. So it should have been extended till 8 a.m. of 5th of April. But since the driver did not inform the company about this, the extension could not be done. But now on 6th, the vehicle has been repaired. Now, how to move the same to its destination? Because the e-way bill is expired, the vehicle will travel now, travel further. Again, if it is caught and the e-way bill is expired, it may be liable for detention. So, what to do in this situation to ensure that the goods reach safely there and there are no legal troubles? So, any answers here? Any answer in the chat box?
Nothing in chat box.
Nothing in chat box. Okay. So, I'll tell you. See, the first e-way bill is expired. So when the first e-way bill is expired, we have to generate a second e-way bill at any cost. Without that, we cannot move the vehicle. So what we need to do, we need to generate a delivery challan or delivery note, wherein we shall be showing that the goods are stationed at a particular point, and from that point to the point of delivery, the vehicle shall be moving. And in the e-way bill, we shall be selecting that others column. That others column has to be selected, and then you need to select delivery challan. So in that way, we can generate one more delivery challan and one more e-way bill, and then the goods can be moved. But see, there are some mistakes which are committed by business owners, wherein what they do, they alter the invoice number a bit. Suppose the invoice number is 25, they make it 25A and generate the e-way bill. So that is wrong because the e-way bill has to be generated with the same invoice number. It cannot be done that we alter the e-way bill and then we alter the invoice number and then we generate the e-way bill. That will not work because that will be wrong. The best course is you generate a delivery challan. You keep the invoice copies with you. Also keep the old e-way bill with you with the vehicle. And one more layer of security shall be to mail this entire issue to your jurisdictional officer before the vehicle moves. That sir, this mistake has been committed. However, we have generated one more e-way bill by generating this delivery challan, and we are moving these goods now. So that even if the vehicles are detained on the ground that this is on the basis of a delivery challan, because we are already facing many cases wherein even after generation of delivery challans some officers are detaining the vehicles, so you have a valid proof that we have also informed their jurisdictional officer. Though in all the cases relief has been provided by the appellate authorities itself but or the courts, but uh, the customer, the client has to go through some problems in this process because he has to make the payment. And there is also delay in supply of goods. Then there are penalties. The reputation issues are there. So this process is the best possible manner for avoiding any detentions. Now, next case study, same case. In this case, the e-way bill should have been extended by 8th a.m. of 5/4/23, but it was not. Now the goods and the vehicle are there in the parking lot of the repairing shop. Now my question is whether, since it is not moving, it is there in the parking lot, whether it can be detained. Whether it can be detained. Any answers in the chat box? I'll wait for 10 seconds so that I'll understand if everyone is awake. Okay, everyone is awake. So, see, in this case, we understand that the goods are no, it cannot be detained. Vivekji has said. Vivekji, let me tell you, see, this is true that the goods are not moving and the truck is also not moving, but it is still in transit. It left the destination to reach Assam, to reach Kolkata. Now it is midway. It is midway, so it is still in transit. It cannot be said that since it is in the parking lot and not moving, so it is not in transit. It is still in transit. Because every day the truck driver stops the vehicle 5 to 6 times for refreshment. So can it be not detained at that time? So until and unless the vehicle reaches the destination, it cannot be said that it is not in transit and it can be validly detained by the authorities. Okay. Okay. Third case study. Now same facts. In this case, oh, it is the same one. Okay. Yes. 8 a.m. it should have been extended. At 6 a.m. the vehicle was detained. Can it be done? 8 a.m. was the time limit for extension. However, the mobile squad detains the vehicle at 6 a.m. Can it be done? No, it should not be done because there is a statutory time limit given to the SSE to extend the e-way bill, and it should be deemed that up to 8 hours, that is up to 8 a.m., the e-way bill is valid because even the law has given me 8 hours to renew the same. So detention of vehicle at 6 a.m. by the authorities is illegal. But now one question arises, there might be officers who might still detain it. So what can you do? Is there any remedy that it cannot be detained? Honestly saying, there is no remedy for this except approaching the High Court. So if the officer still detains it, we have to bear it, we have to appeal, and I'm sure this will be a very good case for you. Okay. Now we shall go through some case laws and we shall discuss some case laws here. In this case, the Madhya Pradesh High Court said that a delay of 4.5 hours appears bona fide and there cannot be any fraudulent intent behind this. In Sri Govind Alloys, in this case, this is again the case relating our case law only, wherein it was said that if the vehicle is detained 41 hours after expiry, means goods have the e-way bill has expired now, and after 41 hours the detention is made. The court said that since no intent to evade tax has been corroborated by the authorities, so there can not be any demand under section 129 in this case. In this case, okay, this is I think the same. Yes. In SR sales, actually the goods were detained with the presumption that they were transported from Karnataka to UP. That means the detaining officer who detained the goods, he said that your e-way bill is from Karnataka to UP. But as per my information, you are bringing these goods from Nagpur, not from Karnataka. It is wrong. So in this case, the court said that this contention cannot be proven because you have not produced any evidence to this regard. Only presumption that these goods have been brought from UP cannot be a valid ground for detention. The officer has to put forward some positive evidence to prove, suppose toll data, to prove that yes, the goods have crossed tolls from Nagpur instead of crossing the tolls of Karnataka. So that can be a valid ground, not only presumption. In Karan Singh also, again, 4.5 hours delay appeared to be genuine. Okay. Now, one more case study. Now, goods were imported from US in ship. Goods landed at Mundra Port, Gujarat. Bill of entry is generated and applicable customs duty is paid. GST is also paid on RCM basis at the time of import itself. Now, goods cannot be transported in one vehicle due to its quantity. See, in case of imports, normally the goods come on ships and they are 400, 500 MT, 1000 MTs in these quantities. And in case of import transactions, we all know that GST is paid on RCM basis. The custom authorities itself collects the GST. So GST is not an issue. But now one problem is arisen that the goods are say 500 MT. How can it be transported from Mundra port to Assam or Kolkata? It cannot be transported in one vehicle. So can we use that import option which is there in the e-way bill? When we were discussing the e-way bill format, there was one option of import. So can we use that option and import all the goods, that means transport all the goods from Mundra port to Assam or Kolkata? Any answers? Okay. See, in this case, selecting the import option will not be a feasible option because in that case you can generate only one e-way bill with one truck number. Now we need to generate multiple e-way bills with multiple truck numbers because we will be requiring multiple trucks, say 20 trucks. So in this case, what we need to do, we need to generate again delivery challans and click the others option. We need to mention the delivery challan number, date, and we need to enclose the commercial invoice, the bill of entry, GST payment documents, and the delivery challan along with e-way bill with the truck. With each truck, their respective e-way bills and delivery challan, and with the last truck, the original documents. Okay, the total of e-way bills and delivery challan should match the quantity imported. Should ideally match the quantity imported unless and until there is some pilferage. So in this case, your goods can be transported from Gujarat to Bengal without any legal issues. Any queries or doubts up to here, you can always ask. Whether the consignor will be liable in this case, whether the party in US who has exported goods, can he be made liable? No, he cannot be made liable under any circumstances because he has no role to comply with Indian laws. Now, this same case, similar case, was there in the case of Robin's tunneling. This case went up to Supreme Court. In this case, what was the issue? That the agent, the import agent, instead of putting the address of the consignee, he put his address. So it was a genuine mistake. So the detention was made, amount was recovered, penalty was recovered. The case went to Madhya Pradesh High Court. Madhya Pradesh High Court, they won the Supreme. It went to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that this is a genuine error made by the import agent. There was no intent to evade because this is an import transaction and due GST was already paid by them. So there cannot be any chance of having any tax evasion in this case. So the contention was not allowed. Now next, Synergy Fertichem. Okay, this is also same type of case. Okay. One more case study. The same on the way the e-way bill is not expired. Okay. Can goods be detained on the basis of valuation being incorrect? Can the proper officer say that, see, I think your goods are undervalued, so I will detain the goods? Is it allowed? See, if this is allowed to happen, then every other vehicle will be detained. Because for Assam, one item may be sold at 100 rupees. In Bengal, it might be at 102 rupees. In Punjab, maybe it might be sold at 110 rupees. So valuation can never be a ground for detention. At most, what the officer can do, he can inform the jurisdictional officer that, see, we have come across this vehicle and we are apprehensive of its valuation, so you can look into it. So at most, the officer can do this. But like I discussed earlier, what can we do if the vehicle is detained? Again, my answer is you cannot do anything. You have to cooperate with the officers. You have to pay the penalty. You have to get it released. Then you have to file appeal. Or if you don't want to pay the penalty, you can directly approach the High Court and challenge it on legality issues. Because again, the High Court might raise the issue of alternative remedy that before appeal, why are you coming to me? So these are the case laws for valuation. wherein the courts have ruled in favor of the SSC that valuation cannot be a ground for detention. In Satyam Shivam was a very important and very interesting case. In this case, basically, again, the goods were detained uh, on whimsical grounds. Now, the High Court said that, see, this was a very whimsical detention, and so a penalty of rupees 10,000 is levied on the officer who detained the vehicle. The case is quashed, but a cost of 10,000 was levied on the officer. Now, when a cost of 10,000 was levied, the department took the case to Supreme Court because it is a question which comes on their officer. So when the case went to the Supreme Court said the High Court was very correct, but it was wrong in one aspect that the cost was kept only at 10,000. It should have been equivalent to the amount of penalty levied, that is 59,000. So the Supreme Court increased the amount of penalty on the officer from 10,000 to 59,000. So officers are also not left like this only in this era of transparency. So, but the issue is you have to ask. Without asking, you will never get it. So there is a legal precedent wherein the apex court has imposed penalty on officers for non-compliance with the provisions. So we all should look into these cases also. Okay. Now, there is a specific time limit, 15 days for issuance of order. That is, MOB 9 has to be issued within a specified time. If it is not issued within that time, is it correct? If it is not issued within that time, the order becomes time barred. And if it becomes time barred, then it cannot be passed. So the goods vehicle has to be returned as it is. However, still if it is passed, then you can challenge the same on the jurisdictional aspect itself. That the officer had no jurisdiction to pass the order because the time limit is expired. And there are case laws with reference to this. Address wrongly mentioned. Again, there is a case law that address was wrongly mentioned in this case. Then the court said that, first of all, address, there was only a difference of address and there was no intent to evade. But in this case, there was a transit only from head office to its branch office in this instant case. So there cannot be any intent to evade. So the appeal of the SSC was allowed. Natural justice and minor invoice issue. If the principles of natural justice are not followed, that is, you are not given a fair hearing, you are not given a show cause notice, you are not given proper time. In those cases also, any order passed by the proper officer whimsically is liable to be withdrawn. Part B not timely updated. Now, Part B, what is Part B? In Part B, the details of the transporter are updated. That is vehicle number, transporter name, those things are there. So Part A contains the transportation details, the details of the goods, consignor, consignee, everything. Part B contains the details of the transporter. So Part A can be generated separately, and after that Part B can be generated. So Part B can be generated even by the transporter or by the consignor or by the consignee. Anyone can generate it. So if Part A is generated, but Part B is not updated, then is it correct? See, in my humble opinion, if the goods are moved without updating Part B, it is not a e-way bill because complete details are not there. So without Part B, e-way bill is basically it does not exist itself, and it cannot be said that a valid e-way bill has been generated. And see, there can be tax evasion also, because there might be instances wherein people may generate part B if they come to know that yes, there is a mobile squad ahead and we should generate part B. If that is allowed, people will start evading tax in these pretexts. So, in my humble opinion, without part B, it cannot be said that there is no intent to evade. In job work, suppose you send goods for job work and you put a value, suppose 100 rupees. Now, see, that value is only notional. You are not charging anything in that transaction because the goods are being sent for job work. Now, when you are bringing back the goods, your staff puts it at 90 rupees. So the officer says, see, when you sent it, it was 100. When you are bringing it, it is 90. How can it happen? So see, in these job work cases, there are no revenue implications. It is just an internal transfer of goods. So there can be no evasion issue. So in this case also, there can be no detention and penalty cannot be levied. There are case laws for that, which I have mentioned here. GSTR 1 and 3 be not filed. Can a vehicle be detained on the ground that when the vehicle is detained, if the GSTR 3B and GSTR 1 is not filed, can the officer say that I'll detain your vehicle because your returns are not filed? Absolutely no. These are not the domains of proper officer under section 129 and section 68. Now, there are many judgments which are against the SSE also. Even in case of breakdowns, as we discussed, I have given you some case laws which are in favor of the SSE. But there are few judgments which are against the SSE also, that also have given. Now, in case of whether if there is a small delay in generation of e-way bill, whether the same is liable for detention or not, there also we have a prejudicial judgment. Part B not updated. There is a judgment which says that if part B is not updated, the vehicle should be detained. Description wrongly given, that is description of goods. Everything is correct, only description is wrong. Even in that case, the court has said that the goods has been correctly detained. No movement in toll booths. The goods have come from Gujarat to Kolkata, but when there is a detention, the officer sees that there is no movement from Gujarat to the place of detention. That means the goods have moved from a nearby place. And it is wrongly written that the goods have been purchased from Gujarat. So even in that case, there is a positive suspicion for the officer to believe that there is a attempt for tax evasion. Original invoice not produced. Even in that case, the court has said that since original invoice was not produced, it is liable to detention. But my humble opinion is that if original invoice is not produced, but if the e-way bill is correct, everything is correct, and if subsequently the SSC produces original invoice, it should not be detained. And if there is e-invoicing is there, then there is absolutely no reason for detention. Invoice not serially numbered. In this case, there were supposed 2 to 3 invoices and they were not serially numbered. So the detention was made and the court said, yes, it is correctly detained. Yes. Now let us discuss some other issues. That is, where does the cause of action arises? Suppose the SSE is stationed at Bengal and he has purchased goods from Gujarat. So now when the goods are detained in UP, where will the case be filed? Whether in Kolkata or in UP? See, it will be in UP. It will not be in Kolkata, even though you are registered at Kolkata, because the detention is done there. And basically the apprehension of tax evasion is raised by the UP government, by the UP tax authorities. So the cause of action will arise there, not here, not in Bengal. Does a state where SSC is not registered face detention? Yes, definitely. Otherwise, the process of detention will not work. So, if your SSC is having a registration only in Bengal, but not in UP, still the UP authorities can detain it. How they will issue demand? They will generate a temporary ID of your company and issue all the notices and orders there. Even the payment can be made from there. Now, temporary ID, we have discussed whether transaction will be intrastate or interstate. See, that depends on the facts of the case. If the officers deem that these goods have been purchased from our state only and they are being supplied to Bengal, then they will treat it as interstate. But if they say that no, it is being sold also in us in UP, it will not go to Bengal. Maybe they'll take it interstate. So that depends. All depends on the particular case. Whether order to be issued if SSC voluntarily pays taxes, even if order the payment is voluntarily made, even then the order has to be issued by the assessing authority, because making voluntary payment does not mean that I have accepted the liability. That is just to basically get my vehicle released, not to accept the liability. So we always have a right to appeal, even if the taxes are voluntarily paid. But we should always try to ensure that while making the payment, we should mention that the same is under protest, so that there can be no confusions at a later stage. So I think this was all about detentions, because we are on time now. So if there are any queries, you can always ask.
Is there any queries from participation? If you have, please write in chat box. Such a wonderful deliberation from Dr. Ayush CA and Dr. Ayush Sharaf. Today we learn about the e-invoice. What is the generally we face the problem? What type of we done error in the e-invoice generation and e-way bill generation? What is the power of GST department? What is the consequence about it? What type of measure we can take? And we thank you, Ayush, for giving such a wonderful session and time from his busy schedule.
Thank you.
And thank you, participation for patient hearing. And we may conclude as there is no any question from the participation. Thank you, Ayush.
Thank you so much.
फिर मिलेंगे.